Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the Real Bros podcast. My name is Logan Thomas, and with me, as always, is my most excellent co-host,
Caden Green.
And together we are
The Real Bros.
Your favorite movie reviewers.
Hopefully.
Not according to the comments. I'm just kidding. We haven't read the comments. We like to think you are.
What movie are we going over today?
Today we're going over one of my movies. I only saw this for the first time a couple years ago, and ever since I did, I fell in love with it. I am talking about Army of Darkness, the black sheep of the Evil Dead franchise, where a big budget studio decided to buy a low budget horror franchise and said, "Hey, make me a swashbuckling comedy."
And it definitely did that, all things considered.
It definitely delivers on that. A lot of people don't realize it's a part of the Evil Dead franchise, but you get what you get.
Yeah, but in this case, you can throw a fit.
You can. I mean, this is a slapstick comedy with just... I don't even really know how to describe it. It's a medieval Three Stooges skit with like some demonic stuff going on around it.
Yeah. And like, wasn't the original Evil Dead, weren't they more horror based?
Like, the original The Evil Dead is still banned in a couple countries.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, gee, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Like, it just got... I forget what country it was, but not too long ago, it just became legal.
That's how bad it was?
I don't say it was because of how bad it was. It was just because when it was made, it was just that... It was just that intense.
Right.
Because there's, of course, the tree scene.
Yeah, I can understand that.
There's the intense gore.
Yeah.
Which the reason it did what it did was because it was the 80s. It was cheap. It was all practical. And so people thought it was real. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Like, there's still some stuff in that movie that just makes me like, yeah.
Right.
The only one that I think tops it is the 2013
remake or remaster.
It's technically a sequel. Because somewhere in the timeline there is the original 3.
Right.
There's the show. There's the 2013 movie. There's Evil Dead Rise, which came out 3 or 4 years ago. I forget what the title of the next one is, but there's like another one in process too. From what I understand, there's an animated series, which is supposed to pretty much be season 4 of the Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like right now, the rules are that there are 3 volumes of the Necronomicon,
which is the main book in the series.
Yes, and so pretty much the events of Army of Darkness are pretty much like, it's really affecting the franchise now.
Yeah.
Especially when the franchise had no motion or movement forward because there's been too many creative heads around it for the longest time.
Oh, yeah.
But, I'm eager for what's to come. So what were your thoughts? Because this was a first watch for you, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, I've watched it before.
Oh, okay.
I actually own it.
Oh.
But it's a funny movie. I'll say that. It definitely strays away from the horror aspect that was once the original.
Which also, this is a rated R movie. It's really not.
Yeah, I don't entirely get the rating, but
I think it was rated R because of that one scene with blood in it,
mm,
and it was completely unrealistic.
yeah. But it's not a bad movie. I watched this one first before I realized that, oh hey, there's two before this, and then I watched those, and this one just feels like the ugly duckling of the group.
Right? And there are like four different versions of this movie. We are covering the theatrical version, which is what most people think about when they see this movie. This version has the most comedy. It has the most iconic one-liners. Um, the director's cut has a couple of them, and some of them are altered. And then the original ending is, which was cut, is kind of like an ending, kind of to the series, but we're getting to that later when we have television bros. Just kidding.
Stop it.
We don't even have hardly enough time for this show, let alone one that reviews TV episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And even then, it'd probably just be one series we do.
we would never leave this room.
We would never be able to leave this room. We'd be like, we had like on this screen the next episode, and on this screen all our notes from the previous episode. And then over there, that's where we're recording.
All right.
I don't have anything else to give my little inputs about this movie.
Just, it's a good movie. The rating doesn't feel like it fits, but at the same time, the movie doesn't fit with the franchise, in my opinion.
Not at all.
But anything else?
I think we're ready to get into it.
Alrighty. So for the quick review, Ash Williams, the main character, is teleported back in time by the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, or as we'll be calling it, just the Necronomicon. And he is teleported back to the 13th century, where he must fight against demons, monsters, and the undead to try and retrieve the Necronomicon so that he can return back to his time. On his little journey mission, he'll work with the people of the 13th century to undergo these challenges and come out successful.
Yeah. This was the largest production of all of the Evil Dead films up to this point.
Right.
Of course, it was famous that they made the first one, and then when they went to make the second one, they couldn't get the rights back to their own movie. So they pretty much retold the first movie in the first 10 minutes of Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
And then they pretty much did the same thing with this movie, because Universal wouldn't use a lot of footage from Evil Dead. They did, but they didn't use a lot of it.
Right.
That's why a lot of people consider 2 to be the only one, because of all of the inconsistencies and everything.
Right.
I think the inconsistencies help because Ash isn't always the smartest person.
No, not by any means.
He could probably think he only took one person up there, and instead he took 5. So, you know, it is what it is. We're in production tales, I guess. We forgot to announce it. Apologies.
You forgot to announce it.
Wow. Okay, that's fair. We're in production tales now. So a plan to have made a third Evil Dead film had been circulating for years, even before Sam Raimi made Darkman, which was kind of like his first. Kind of like he had done other movies because there were like large gaps of time in between the makings of Evil Dead movies, because
Right.
originally they only wanted to make one, but then I guess they tried to make a different kind of movie. I think it was like a prison movie or something. I forget, but it bombed, and so they're like, well, the only thing that's ever made us money is Evil Dead. So let's go make another one. And that's when, of course, when they couldn't get the rights to their own movie, and they had to reshoot the entire first movie. And
10 minutes.
yeah, and so yeah. Um. Anyways, Evil Dead 2 made a lot of money, and so Dino De Laurentiis, who had financed the second one, I believe, uh, pretty much put up the money, financed the sequel. And of course, the ending perfectly sets up this movie. And so he always envisioned this. From two, he had a clear vision of a third movie. You can definitely tell that.
Right.
But I definitely think it wasn't going to be as comedy heavy as what we got.
Right. And I feel like that would be better if it wasn't as comedic as it is.
Right. The original title was Evil Dead 3: Army of Darkness. But the studio didn't want it to be associated with the other two because they thought that would affect ticket sales.
Mm.
You know, because when you have such a cult film like Evil Dead 1 and 2, which are infamously gory or whatever, and you're trying to get tickets sold, you need to like profit off of as much as you can.
Oh, absolutely.
From what I understand, the other title was Ash versus the Army of Darkness. I like that one.
Yeah.
Initially, Sam Raimi co-wrote Army of Darkness with Scott Spiegel, who had worked with him before. He was Scott Spiegel was writing a Clint Eastwood movie at the time, and so he decided to write Army of Darkness with his brother Ivan, which I think he helped arm Evil Dead 2, I believe. I know the most interesting about this was the budget for this movie. That's the interesting story.
What are we looking at for the budget?
We're still in production tales though.
Uh,
Initially, the budget of this movie was $8 million.
okay.
And very soon after they started filming, they knew it was not going to be enough. So they bumped up the bid. The studio bumped it up to $12 million.
Okay.
However, the film's ambitious scope and its extensive effects work forced Campbell, Raimi, and producer Robert Tappert to put up $1 million of their own. So we're at $13 million. Yeah. So it went up by $5 million.
And for a total of 13 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the lowest we've had so far.
Yeah. It seems like filming lasted 100 days. They did some in the Mojave Desert. So there's a lot of stop motion in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Some of the best I've ever seen. It was the work of Ray Harryhausen, sorry. I'd never heard of him before.
I haven't either.
And I don't really know how to explain, but they like meshed. Wow. Making fun of my speech impediment.
Sound like a microwave, for God's sake.
Beep.
Oh, my burritos are done.
Oh no, my burrito exploded. No.
Alright, but what were you talking about?
They meshed claymation, some CGI. I the way I would explain it is like they filmed something, or like they claymation made it and they filmed it on top of something. You know, like how in like old movies when there's like some form of special effects, they kind of like put the film over each other.
Right.
You know how it looks. That's what they did here for some of those things. And the animatronics. I
More,
think,
they're more puppets than anything.
yeah, yes, you're right. The puppeteering work
Very good.
is almost perfection.
But I do want to say something just completely off topic.
Mm-hmm.
The company that makes stop motion that I immediately recognize is the same people that have done Coraline, Kubo and the Three Strings, Paranormal, or Paranorman.
Yeah.
Their stop motion is so fluid,
Yes.
and it's just so incredible to look at. And then you realize, like, oh, this takes roughly 3 years to do anything with, because it's like for a minute worth of movie, they have to move the figure like 3,000 different times or something.
Yeah.
It's like they move the figure 30 times a second.
And the thing with modern claymation is a lot of it is computer generated. They just make it in the style of claymation,
Right.
which is why it moves so much smoother. And everything. That's one of the reasons I like old claymation is because like you have to realize that's just like over a million pictures moving,
Yeah.
and that's just cool.
Oh yeah.
Um, Production went well until came time for post production. So Sam Raimi had an original ending of this movie,
Okay.
which I'm not going to talk about, but it ended of Ash waking up somewhere other than the theatrical version's ending.
Oh.
Because remember, I had a discussion with you about this
Yeah, you did.
because I'm a big proponent of how I like the ending of the director's cut, but I like it better knowing that they used it again in the show,
Yeah.
because I feel like that makes a lot more sense. Because if you use that ending, you can't have the show, and the show is one of the best things about the franchise.
Yeah.
So, but I guess Sam Raimi needed $3 more million for his original ending, and Universal would not give it because they were wanting to use the money to make a sequel to Silence of the Lambs, which they did. Well, you know, Silence of the Lambs, it won awards.
Right.
So, like, of course, they're going to be trying to pour all their funds into something that could potentially win them more awards. Evil Dead is not winning awards.
No.
um,
As good as it is, it's not award worthy.
right? And so they reshot the ending, and that's what we got. So by the time it was done, the MPAA wanted to give this movie an NC-17 rating.
Which is equivalent to like unrated, right?
X.
X. Okay.
Which, how? But
Well, if you think
oh,
about it,
it's because of they wanted NC-17 because of a female getting killed. Okay.
I mean, if you think about it, horror movies have definitely come a long way since then with like ratings and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, I admit we've been desensitized
Yeah.
due to all of it too. Um, Universal wanted it to be PG-13 to make it broad audience. Sam Raimi cut out a lot of stuff, and they still would only let it be R. So
That doesn't make sense to me.
the theatrical version is 81 minutes.
Okay.
The director's cut is 87 minutes. And it's not because there's scenes missing or whatever. It's just that scenes are different
Right.
in a couple of them. And of course, you have the ending. So,
Right.
yeah. So it had its problems. But, like, yeah, I mean, you get your drama with stuff like that. It's kind of like a Zack Snyder's Justice League kind of situation,
Right.
which I cannot wait till we talk about that one. Because that's going to be an episode where I'm going to be ranting for a while.
Yeah, I'll probably be ranting about my own things.
I know.
Movie wise, yours will probably be more real life wise.
I mean, yeah, I know you weren't a fan of the movie.
Like, don't get me wrong, the original movie was okay, but I like the Snyder Cut more.
Yeah, I mean, and the first time I showed Carly it, she was like, because we watched the Snyder Cut first,
Right.
which is like, I wanted it. We watched Man of Steel, BVS, and then Justice League. And I was like, babe, you watch this movie, you're going to want to throw punch somebody. I put the movie in.
The original Justice League after the Snyder Cut.
Yes.
Okay.
Dude, by the time the credits rolled, she was like, I just feel like I was insulted for my existence by watching this movie. She's like, I'm a fan and I'm ready to just like, I'm ready to protest, man.
Alright.
It's garbage. But we're getting off topic. Different movie.
Yeah.
You think we're bad about Marvel movies? Just the way we talk about DC movies. It's gonna get good.
Well, DC doesn't have as many movies as Marvel does.
No, and it's because Warner Brothers doesn't trust their directors or their writers to come up with stories.
Live action stories.
Yes. Animation, DC blows Marvel out of the water.
Oh, absolutely.
And even in television in general, DC does better with long form storytelling than short form. Anyway, we're talking about Evil Dead here.
Not Marvel
superheroes.
or DC.
But now our budget and box office numbers.
Alright.
The production budget was, of course, $13 million
Okay. Not bad.
and made a little over $21.5 million. It made its money back.
And then some, but not a whole lot.
Opening weekend, it made $4 million.
Ooh.
Yeah. And that's the only number it gives. So,
Yeah, that's not good.
no.
I
And-
think as of right now, that's the worst opening weekend we've had, right?
Yeah. And Bruce Campbell in interviews is like, he said, we cost $13 million and it pretty much made $13 million. And that's it. It was done. Because if you think about it, the more money they were trying to put into it, it was only hurting them.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, all these projects are just like, oh, let's just throw money in it, solve the problem. That's never going to solve it.
No.
Movies need to have good, tight scripts and a good director and a good way to tell a story.
And my thing, which I can't remember if I brought it up already, I don't like the fact that there's just a handful of celebrities that are just pulled from anymore.
Oh, you mean like the people who they think are popular and they just want to be want them put in people's movies.
Yeah, like it's Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt.
I think the newest one is Jenna Ortega. She
Yeah.
is everywhere.
And it's like you can find people that match the person you currently have, and you can bring new people to the spotlight
Right?
instead of cutting out all these good actors for grade A actors.
Yeah, because all you're trying to do is just like, well, these guys sell seats.
Yeah.
They can kind of do the part. Put them in there. It's kind of like using a quarterback for every position in football.
And my biggest gripe right now is the Minecraft movie where Jack Black is the main character. Or technically is the main character.
And what would you have rather had in that movie?
Well, for one, I wouldn't have had it live action.
Right? Yeah.
And that would have narrowed it down greatly for just having voice actors.
They probably would have got Chris Pratt.
But like going off of actors, I would want to see someone that would more fit the role. Because I'm going on a little rant, but in the game, the character you play as is a solid 6 feet tall. Jack Black is not 6 feet.
He's like our height.
And he's also not that muscular or even slender, which is why it's so jarring to me that, no offense to him, they put a round man in a movie about blocks. I think that is so funny.
That's why they did it.
So stupid.
They just needed somebody that Jason Momoa could play off of, and that's it.
Like, if they were doing all CGI, that's different. That's fine. You can have whoever you want be voice actors. But when you're having physical people do this stuff, you're cutting out actors, like other not well-known actors that could do the job better.
Right. Yeah, I'm all with you there.
It's like some roles fit well, but other roles just they don't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in charge of a casting department, I would try to look at the script and just like see who the words would like flow from
Right.
the best. And I know you have to like put an image in your head of like how it would all look and everything too. But like sometimes you just have to pick the person that can serve the story and the movie itself instead of serving the numbers.
Right. Anyway, I apologize for my rant. Where were we?
We were just getting done with production tales on Army of Darkness.
Okay.
Back
on track.
This is the most we have went on tangents in a while.
And it's not even about the movies.
I know. It's just about the production issues and everything.
Of everything, not just of one movie.
Yeah.
But, alright.
We'll have an episode one day called
The Rant.
Top 10 Worst Productions of All Time.
Alright. Are we done with production tales?
I believe so.
Since I can tell you're already going to forget, before we get into the spoiler review, pause the podcast now. Go watch the movie if you don't want to be spoiled. Once you do that, come back, listen to what we have to say.
And you do not really have to see the first two.
No.
Because it recaps everything that's happened in the beginning of the movie.
And even then, this movie kind of just feels like a standalone.
It does. This would be it's like a nice family adventure film.
Right. Family?
There's hardly really any horror in this movie.
Uh,
I like this movie because of how like stupid it is.
yeah.
It's so stupid, it's funny, and it works. Just because it is Bruce Campbell doing his shtick, his slapstick, ha ha ha, kind of
Gotcha there.
pretty much, and just it has 80s one-liners.
Makes sense.
The whole movie is like an 80s one-liner. The
Yeah.
worst part is it's a 90s movie. So, yeah.
But like I said, go watch the movie. It's definitely a movie worth watching.
Yes.
It's a weird movie. I can see the gears turning.
I don't even know how I would label this movie.
It is a comedy, adventure, horror, self-reflection. There's more to it, but it could just keep going on.
Imagine like Lord of the Rings with
Upscaled by like 10.
upscaled by 10.
And all three movies are condensed into 81 minutes.
Imagine if Aragorn was a sarcastic prick and truly only cared about himself and had cheesy lines. There you go.
Army of Darkness, everyone. We've just gone through the entire movie. Thanks for watching.
It's just 2010's Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
Or 90s Lord of the Rings, whichever one you want to consider it. I don't know which one it would fit better in,
But anything else you would like to add before we get on to the spoiler review?
no, I'm ready to get into this.
All right, take it away.
Why, thank you, sir.
Of
I
course.
appreciate it. The movie starts. I know, I almost did it again. I'm sorry, it's just so ingrained in my skull. The movie starts with a flashback. It starts with
A recap.
yes, and the recap is narrated by Ash himself. He's being dragged to his death, he believes, in chains by knights because he had fallen through a portal to the 13th century.
Which happens because of the Necronomicon.
Necronomicon.
Which, doesn't he read the book before that happens, or does it just open?
It was a character in the second movie who is trying to banish the evil dead, and events happened. They weren't able to say the rest of it, so they weren't able to close the portal, and pretty much Ash, his car,
And a tree trunk.
and a tree trunk just gets sucked into it, and then it closes in on itself.
Which, Ash being the main character, you're going to remember him. But I would like to point out, keep in mind, just remember in the back of your head, there is a car and about a third of a fully grown tree in the 13th century. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's one of those interesting plot points. It shows up later on in the film to make the movie nice and rounded.
Which I realized that, and I'm like, oh, that's actually really cool.
I know. I honestly surprised that they even acknowledged the car's existence after about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Anyway, welcome to the 13th century.
Yep. Ash is being considered one of Henry the Red's men, who Arthur, not King Arthur, but he's a man named Arthur, and he's not. I don't think he's a king. I think he's just kind of like a leader over like a small group of people.
Right.
And Henry the Red. And they're kind of at war with each other, and I guess in 13th century England, um, Deadites, which are
The franchise's terms for possessed.
yeah, and IMDb calls them flesh possessing demons, which I mean it's true because like they kind of like they don't take your soul,
No.
they just kill your body as they enter it, and then you're just pretty much
Husk.
a sadistic, really warped sense of humor meat soup.
That's the best way I can think to put it.
I know. I whenever I watch a horror movie and like the villain is like playing with like the protagonist or whatever, is like, man, we need more people to do Deadite type stuff.
Yeah.
It gets 10 times more twisted and borderlines comedy.
Yeah.
But anyways, so they're taken captive. Ash tries to explain himself. They don't believe him, and so they say, "Take him to the pit."
And the pit's not a fun place.
No, nobody comes back from the pit.
Nobody.
It's the place of nightmares.
Which we should also mention, as Ash, Henry the Red,
Mm-hmm.
and his men are being taken to Arthur's castle, Mage comes out of nowhere. He's like, "I will try and help you, sir. You do not belong here."
Yeah, because Ash is kind of portensed in the Necronomicon as the one who will save them from the evil of the Deadites. Because Ash is kind of has an iconic look. Yeah, shotgun strapped to his back and a chainsaw hand.
Not only that, but it's the constant slick back hair, the blue shirt, and the khakis with the black dress shoes.
They're like boots.
Whatever. Plus, you don't really see the boot part of them because of the khakis.
I know. Just saying.
But it's like a work shirt, a long
Yeah.
sleeve blue, a, a blue long sleeve work shirt,
Yeah.
and in most iterations, one sleeve is missing, right?
He pretty much looks like Temple of Doom Indiana Jones at this point. Honestly, I feel like that's where they got the inspiration. Well, he looked good with his shirt torn to shreds.
Stop fangirling.
Let's do it over here too. Let's show off this guy's abs too.
Which, how old is Bruce Campbell today?
He's like 60 something.
Which I find that funny because I remember we had talked about this at one point, and the point you brought up is when they were doing the animated show.
Yeah.
He just couldn't do his own actions anymore.
Yeah.
And then my first instinct was like, oh, well, that's kind of dumb. Harrison Ford's doing his own stuff still, and he's older than Campbell, probably.
Harrison Ford's 80 something.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And Bruce Campbell is 66.
Oh.
Not calling Bruce Campbell a wussy or anything.
I am.
He's got to protect the chin.
Oh, yes. The most iconic part about him.
His chin and his voice. Where was I? I got distracted talking about the chin. Anyways, so
we're talking about the pit after we brought up
yes,
Merlin.
the pit. And is his name Merlin?
Probably not, but that's what I'm going to call him. I don't think he's given a name like a lot of the characters.
I think he's just called Wiseman or something. He's
Maybe.
essentially a Dumbledore / a Gandalf, like believer in everything kind of person.
Well, doesn't he like actively do magic?
I don't think he does magic. I think he's just like he's like the consult to the leader
Mm,
because he's like a
right,
educated.
right hand man kind of thing.
Yeah, it just people think he's a wizard because he's got like gigantic beard.
And the cloak doesn't help.
He's pretty much wearing monk robes and a beard. So yeah,
And I swear to you, from what I can remember, he has like a wizard staff with him.
maybe. All I know is he's like, you are the forspoken one. You will save us.
Yeah.
Lead me.
And Ash gets thrown into the. Nope. We forgot something. There's a man that is thrown into the pit before him.
And this is the blood, ladies and gentlemen.
It is probably 40 gallons.
I would say at least 3 human beings worth of blood comes.
More than that.
5?
Probably about 20.
20?
Just from one guy. And this is a deep pit. Probably.
I would probably say it's like 40 feet deep.
Yeah, around there.
And there's like a room in there. Like, this is a pretty massive pit.
But enough blood spurts out from this pit from one guy to probably fill a swimming pool that you would find in your backyard.
It just comes out as like a geyser of bright red blood.
Yeah.
And this is the only time we see blood in this movie.
I mean, there's a couple like little cuts that like
yeah, but that's just like face makeup. It's not like somebody like cuts off an arm and there's just like blood spraying everywhere.
yeah. I know. I'm just saying like
yeah, I know.
It's not the only instance. It's the most in your face extreme instance.
And the funniest part is you get to see Bruce Campbell, which is Ash, react to this. And like his face just like glows red as it happens. And you're just like, what? Is there some form of explosion going on down there? And so after this, the guards are pointing their swords to Ash, and he's just like, wait a minute. I don't even know these guys. And nobody believes him.
Of course, as you would.
And so a female character named Sheila throws a rock at Ash's head and forces him to fall down into the pit.
Which, the fall doesn't hurt him at all.
Because there's like water. There's like a pool of water down there.
Which is so inconsistent. Like at one moment it'll be up past his hips, and at another moment it'll be below his shins.
I know. Whatever depth it needs for the action sequences to work is how it is.
You take everything in this movie at face value.
And so there's I'm gonna call it a deadite / witch.
I would say possessed deadite, just to be safe, because that thing moves like a deadite.
Yeah, we're talking like an 80-year-old woman doing like
backflips, somersaults,
like ninja stuff.
Yeah.
And she just like comes like somersaulting out of the darkness and just like punches him in the crotch. And like the insane close up on his face, you're just like, oh! It's just so hilarious.
And it's like the best way I can say is if he had just eaten one of the most sour candies ever.
I know.
Like that's how puckered his face is. Just
and then somehow he like gets on his hands, kicks her off, pushes himself up to his feet, and is now like bar brawling her. And at this point, so does he get the chainsaw for this kill? Or does Or does...
I don't know.
No.
No.
Because he throws her onto these spiked walls.
A chain falls down that he can use to get out of.
Which these walls are starting to move in on themselves because the guys are like, well, crap, this guy's actually starting to take care of our monster. Plan B! And so Ash is trying to find his way out. And then a second monster erupts. But this makeup is ugly. It's like swamp monster deadite thing.
Yeah.
And at this point, this is when the wise man throws the chainsaw. And this is so like 80s Power Rangers. He just drops the chainsaw with no discernible angle or anything. And somehow Ash jumps up 10 feet in the air. And there's like an attachment on his stubby arm that allows him to wield the chainsaw as like a sword.
Yeah.
And so he jumps up 10 feet in the air.
Which is impressive.
And he just like snaps the chainsaw arm and just like falls back down in like an action pose and just revs it up. And it's just like
groovy.
Yeah. It's so groovy.
It's funny.
And then he cuts the swamp monster's arm off and it like flies up and smacks a guy in the face. And then so this chain is moving right beside him, right?
Right.
And he's just like, oh man, what am I going to do? He takes his belt off and whips it like Indiana Jones, then rides the chain up. And then the monster grabs his leg and he's just like, oh god, what am I going to do? My hands are slipping. And he kicks him loose and that's when the walls close in and he climbs up. And everybody's like, oh crap. He threw him in there.
And when does he get the shotgun?
So he's pretty much like in a very feral state right now.
Yes.
Mostly because he's pissed. Pretty much like going around just like threatening people. Like, you want some? You want a piece of me? And when they were walking, there was a guy who was like whipping him.
Right.
He's like, you want some, don't you? And the guy's just like, oh god. And he like makes a fool out of this guy. And the guy right beside him is like, you're gonna take that? And he just like shoves him to the ground.
Oh yeah, doesn't one of the guards have a shotgun?
Yeah. Anyways, Arthur's like, no, he goes up to Arthur and he says, your shoe's untied. He believes it, and then Ash just punches him.
Oh.
And then he's like looking around at people. It's like, don't even touch me, right? And so Arthur's pretty much like, for your insolence, I will have you dead. And he calls for his sword boy, and he just like puts his foot on him as he unsheaths his sword. He just kicks this kid to the ground, and he just like prepares for a duel. And at this point, Ash has his shotgun, which we don't see happen.
Mm-hmm.
He just shoots it, and everybody's like, ooh, as his sword like snaps in half. And everybody's like, and he's just like, this is my boomstick. And he goes into like this 5-minute rant
about the make and the model, all it's capable of.
And he's like, you have to shop smart. Shop S-Smart, which is where he worked. And he was like one of those people who just like stand there and just answer customer questions.
Customer service?
Yes, customer service.
Oh my god.
I'm not in retail, I'm sorry. Anyways,
that's basic knowledge.
I apologize, alright? Anyways, ignore the lack of common knowledge on this show. Um, uh, anyways, somehow the swamp monster survives and has climbed up the pit, and Ash shoots him 3 times
With a double
with a
barrel
double barrel
shotgun
shotgun.
without reloading.
And I like I like this monster's death because he like jumps up, does a backflip, and then falls back down.
And in this movie, I noticed kind of follows the same rule as Zombieland, but except to a more extreme case. It doesn't matter what, the character never has to reload the gun.
Yeah, and you have to like quadruple tap everything in this movie. Because they're demons, they're not zombies.
Yeah, and like in Zombieland, you don't see him reload until there's an actual action sequence.
Right.
Whereas in Army of Darkness, he doesn't reload.
No.
Like, a little spoiler for later on, he makes more shells.
Yeah, that's what I was literally about to say. Like, they have a scene dedicated just like showing making gunpowder and stuff.
But he makes gunpowder, he makes shells, but he never reloads.
And I'm pretty sure one of the taglines for this movie, low on bullets and almost out of gas, is like one of the taglines or something.
Can't be low on bullets if your gun never runs out.
Yeah. Well, I guess granted he only uses the gun like maybe 3 times.
Yeah. It's too strong for the 13th century.
Yeah. He's not even using a chainsaw either. Like, the pit scene is pretty much like the only use of his chainsaw in this entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
Which sucks.
But we find out why later on.
Yeah. Out of gas.
Hmm?
Out of gas. I know, I'm teasing, I'm sorry. But anyways, now Ash is being pretty much treated like royalty.
Yeah.
Like, he's got women like feeding him grapes and stuff, and he's got like a gigantic turkey leg and a gigantic like chalice of probably red wine or something.
Just the best life he could be living.
And yeah, and the chick who threw a rock at him pretty much comes to appease to him and is like, "I'm sorry, I thought you were one of our enemies." And he was like, "So first you want to kill me, now you want to kiss me."
Yeah, pretty much how it goes.
And he's kind of degrading to Sheila, like he is to all women. But
yeah,
that's a story for another episode. But the Wiseman comes back in and he says, "To send you home, we need the Necronomicon." And Ash wants nothing to do with his book.
right.
He's
Which
like,
is understandable, as that's the reason it got him there.
and the worst part is they don't even have it. They say you have to journey 3 days out and 3 days back for this to happen. And he's like, you have to find a haunted graveyard where evil dwells to take the Necronomicon. And he's just like, no, I just want the book. I just want to go home.
Yeah, he just wants to get home, which is understandable when he's in 13th century.
And so there's something different about the room after these guys announce his journey that he has to take. Ash just like, there's something funky going on in here. Not groovy, funky.
Which is how you can tell something's up when he's not saying his iconic catchphrase.
Absolutely. There is a deadite in the room with a pot of scalding hot water. And like I it's kind of hard to watch this scene because of like how bouncy the camera is. Like
Yeah.
every single person like runs at this chick and they just like she just like backhand slaps everybody and sends them flying across the room. And Ash just like jumps in there with his shotgun, just like they're doing like spin kicks and whacking her with the gun, and he shoots her twice,
Bang, bang.
and then he just like puts the shotgun on his shoulder from behind and just shoots her once. So there's 3 more rounds through a double barrel shotgun.
Unreloaded still.
Yeah,
So we're at 6 in total.
pretty much. And so he's like, "Where is this cemetery at?" And he's like, "But I'm going to need something from you first." And so they go to the blacksmith shop, and he forges himself a gauntlet hand.
Which, this is why we don't see the chainsaw the rest of the movie.
But he takes it with him.
Yeah, he takes it with him, which is so funny because he doesn't use it.
I guess it wasn't in the budget.
But this chainsaw hand replaces his normal one while also giving like super strength.
He's like able to like crush an iron goblet with his hand. And Sheila and the blacksmith are like, "Whoa."
That's pretty cool.
And of course he says, "Groovy." At that point he's like messing around with it, and Sheila comes in. She gives him in like a blanket or like a cloak or something that she hand knitted herself. And he's like, "Yeah, I need a riding blanket, don't I?" And she's just like, "You are such a pig," and she like slaps him, and so she like storms to the door.
I mean, she's not wrong.
No, he is kind of a pig.
But granted, if you've gone through the same stuff he has and survived.
Say it's only been like a day since his girlfriend died. Realistically.
Yeah.
And so like she storms off and he just like follows her. He grabs her and he's like, "Give me some sugar, baby." Which that line does not work.
No.
I guess it works on 13th century women. Does not work today.
No.
But they kiss.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
That was the most romantic thing I've heard in my life. Praise to you, the love god.
Oh, well, thank you. Don't ask me for advice. I'm all out of it today.
Yeah, I dragged you away from your chapel. I apologize.
All is forgiven.
You will be allowed into love heaven. But he sets off on his quest, and halfway through his journey. So if you are an Evil Dead fan, you're gonna know this. It's Sam Raimi calls it the Chaser Demon, but it's pretty much like this POV force that just like chases after you. Good name, right?
Yeah, and I think I think it's so funny because this chase sequence, the demon can catch him. It could have caught him, but whenever it gets like an inch away, it just slows down and lets him.
I was just say there's almost like a shot of just his butt, like almost entirely in the camera. Then it just like backs away 3 feet.
And like that's what I don't understand. Like, it's funny, absolutely, but I don't get it.
But he runs into this windmill where he like barricades the door. He's making himself dinner when all of a sudden he sees an odd reflection in the mirror, and so he breaks it, and so this mirror is shattered.
And the pieces that are shattered, they still have his reflection in them.
Yeah,
And these little reflections
starts to move.
yeah, they start popping out of the shards of the mirror.
In which case, they like grab forks and everything, and they like
Forks, knives, anything they can use to not necessarily try and kill Ash, but torment him.
and so they like stab him in the butt with this fork. They like slap him on the head with like a pan. They like knock him over, and his face falls on like a hot
Skillet, oven,
and he has to like use like a
spatula,
to pry his face off.
Oh, it's so dumb.
They like stab him in the foot with a nail, and he like falls over, and he wakes up like tied, like in Night at the Museum.
Yeah.
I wonder if they got that from this movie.
Honestly,
It could have,
wouldn't surprise me.
but the little Ashes drop one of their clones down his throat, and then he proceeds to pour boiling water down his throat.
He breaks out from their grasp and just chugs boiling water.
And then his arm starts to itch, and he gets an eyeball growing on his shoulder, which soon splits, pretty much grows another Ash on his shoulder, and then they just split apart. And then this guy's like, "I'm bad, Ash. You're good, Ash. You're Mr. Goody Two Shoes." And he just starts like punching him in the face, like, "You're Goody Two Shoes, bam! You're Goody Two Shoes."
And it's so funny.
His Ash is just like, what is happening? And somewhere, he just grabs his gun, puts it up to this guy's face, and just like, good, bad, I'm the guy with the gun. And he just blows his head off.
Yeah, but isn't Bad Ash like still moving or something?
He's not dead because the rules are to kill a deadite, you have to dismember them. So he straps Bad Ash down. And this, he does use the chainsaw again, but he just uses like a regular chainsaw. So he splits Bad Ash into like pieces. And he's still alive, and he's pretty much like a talking head. He's like, "You'll never get the Necronomicon. I'll find you." And then Ash is like, "What's that you got in your face there?" He's like, "What? What?" He just throws dirt on his face. She's like, I'll get you."
It's a strange first night for sure.
Absolutely. And like 2 hours later, he gets to the cemetery, and he finds that there are 3 books.
Oh yeah,
not 1, 3.
Something that we forgot to mention is that there is I want to say code. You have There is a.
So the wise men pretty much gave him an incantation.
That's what it was.
To say to pretty much like rid the book of evil.
And you have to say it perfectly.
It's Klaatu Barada Niktu. And the wise man's like, say it, repeat it to me like a bunch of times. And he says it once. He's like, "I know your words." And he rides off. And so we pick up where we left off. And he grabs the first book.
And
it's like this vacuum dimension, almost like a black hole.
And it just, no matter how hard Ash pulls away, he just gets sucked in eventually.
When he comes back out, his face is just like completely like
elongated,
and he like shakes his head like 5 times, very cartoonish.
Each time it gets slightly more back to normal.
And he's like, You're a nasty sucker. And then he grabs the next one, and it like bites his hand.
Yeah, it turns into more of a bat like.
It almost turns in almost kind of like oh, that book from Harry Potter 3. The
I don't know.
Oh, that's right. Anyway, this book pretty much just like comes alive and it's like teeth and everything. And like the thing that I like about it was it could do a gag like that. But like what the franchise is doing now is it's saying that there are 3 volumes of the Necronomicon.
Mm,
And so now Army of Darkness is relevant somehow because they're saying that like, hey, these books are they all serve different purposes, which is what's played on in um Evil Dead Rise.
right.
So pretty much Ash has one. Um the chick from the 2013 has one. And Evil Dead Rise has the third one. I don't know if that's how they're playing it off as because Bruce Campbell's not coming back in a live action role that we know of. But anyways,
The only way I could see him coming back would be as like a slow moving mentor kind of role.
right? I mean that's kind of what he is in the show.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be slower.
Yeah. And this is what you do with the third book. And you just recite this incantation, which I had tattooed on my hand.
So I remember.
So I never forget the proper words.
And literally, he just had tattooed on his hand "Groovy." it's not even. It's not even the phrase.
Oh, I could see it.
Yeah. But anyways, he goes to say the incantation, and he forgets the third word. He's like, "Klaatu Barada." He's just like, "Nickel." He says like 5 other like necktie, nectar, and he's like, "It's an N word. I know it's an N word." And so his solution
Is to say the worst N word out there.
he goes like, "Klaatu Barada." And he's just like, "Okay then.
Think it worked.
I'll be taking my book now." And so he grabs it, and all of a sudden the ground just starts shaking. Tombstones like fly up out of the air.
Like one of those little bottle rockets.
Yeah, and all of a sudden like skeleton arms are like coming out. All of this is practical, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Which it is done so well. I love it.
And so Ash is running out of the graveyard. A skeleton arm like grabs his legs. He falls down. And all of a sudden, there's like a 3-minute skit of just like skeleton arms just like slapping him, poking him in the eyes. Very Three Stooges.
Yeah,
stuff.
I was just gonna say like a 3-minute Three Stooges skit.
And so he gets out of there, and this revives somehow ish Bad Ash. He's able to like reform.
I would say it mutates him.
Yeah, he's kind of like Darth Vader ish now, or somehow this movie's version of what Darth Vader is. And so Ash gets back to the castle. He's like, "Here's the book. Now send me back like you promised." And the wise man's like, "Did you say the words?" And he's like, "Yeah, I may not have said every single syllable, but I pretty much said them, yeah." And he's like, "You fool!
You've doomed us all!
The army of the darkness will rise against us."
Ah!
And he's pretty much like, but we made the deal." And so, like, nobody respects him anymore. He's not the hero. And so, uh, Bad Ash has assembled an army of darkness.
Which is just a bunch of skeletons.
It's really just a bunch of puppeteered skeletons.
Which, even still, it's an intimidating sight. There's
It is.
hundreds of these puppets.
Yes. And
And
so,
granted, in the final battle, some of them look like they're in tethered by groups.
yeah.
There are a few where A, they're puppeted individually, or P, my favorite part, the skeletons are just actors dressed up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever caught that, but there are a few scenes.
There was. Like, you can just see, like, there's just like a skeleton head, just like a really bulky costume. You're just like, what?
I wonder if there's a guy in there.
There's like a 300-pound skeleton over there. What's up with that?
Oh, he drank a lot of milk.
Oh, yeah. It's that, got that rich bone density. Nice, thick bone structure.
Calcium rich.
Oh, yeah. Love to see them joints, man.
Okay.
Ain't no calcium deposits there. Anywho, so the people are starting to. The people are starting to flee the castle.
I guess you could say the final battle is quite humorous. It's got a way of tickling your funny bone.
Post-humorous.
Oh.
Okay, back on track.
To be honest, the final battle's pretty good.
To bone honest.
Did you get that last one?
Yes.
Tibia. To
Tibia.
be honest.
Tibia.
I'm funny. Okay, continue. I'm done.
I need to recuperate my systems in my mind. Anyways, the people are starting to flee the castle, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, we're going to die!
Somebody help us! Wah!
And so Ash is on like this parapet, and he's like,
I
"Go
could
home."
do something, or I could go home.
He tries to give a harrowing speech. All he says is, "Fine, run home and cry to mama. I'm gonna stand here and fight." And so he has like this 3-minute training montage.
Yeah.
He's teaching these knights karate. He's using one of his college chemistry books to make explosives.
And they bring back the car
They bring
and
back
the tree.
car to make like this gigantic death Mad Maxy machine.
And the tree is used to like hold the door shut.
Yeah.
Plot
right there. That is a well-written script.
I mean, at least it wasn't like he came through the portal without those two things.
Yeah. But anyways, it's nighttime and they're like, Arthur pretty much has like no power left over his people. It's literally just Ash.
And I can't remember, do we mention that Sheila got captured?
Sheila gets kidnapped and turned into like a
Deadite queen?
half Deadite, half human queen. But no, the army of darkness is approaching the castle, and there is skeleton musicians. There's like a Scotsman with bagpipes.
And they have beards.
They have drummer boys where the drums are just skulls and he's using other bones to hit the skull.
So dumb.
And there's like a flutist where the flute is just a fluted bone.
Oh.
Cinematic gold right here.
Yeah.
And so they charge in.
Well, hold on. All things considered, you gotta hand it to them. They really didn't leave it bare bones in the final battle.
We need to make a poll for every time you make a bad joke. People need to donate $5.
Oh,
that's how we get paid for this show, by your bad jokes. Monetized as of right now.
All because of me. All right.
And you only get to see $1 from each share. But Ash is pretty much pulling like a Legolas, and up in the parapet he's like, wait, fire! And they have like these flaming arrows and stuff, and they have like explosive gunpowder bags on the end, and they're just exploding plastic skeletons everywhere.
Oh, and this is the part that gets me, because there's like a close-up. They've built like a little moat almost. And there's just a close-up of a couple skeletons getting blown up. And you can see one of them is just an actual actor in a costume. Because his arms go flailing. Oh.
And Bad Ash is just like, oh, what is this devilry? What?
You know, you gotta give it to the actors that were out on the battlefield. You can't call them spineless.
There's another $5.
Oh yeah, I'm on a roll.
I know you want us to get this episode over so you can take a break from the jokes, everybody. We're trying. I'm trying with every bone in my body. You're right, you do it better than me, I'm sorry.
All is forgiven.
But at this point, they're like trying to get over the wall because they're come for the book. Because I don't know why, they don't really say why, but Bad Ash wants the book. And so they've entered the castle walls. They're using their 5-step karate moves. They're like all in a line, just and the skeletons are this they're taking it.
It's like what? Block, kick, sweep, and then decapitate. Oh yeah. So stupid.
And then
but it works, I guess.
It does. And then they have these explosive catapults that they're shooting out at the thing. And at this point, Bad Ash joins the chat. And so him and Ash are fighting over the book. At one point, Ash is pretty much dual wielding. He's fighting Bad Ash in one arm and just a skeleton in the other. And they're just like going up and down the stairs, back and forth, like ting, 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 ting. And Ash does some backflips in this sequence that are pretty impressive.
Oh yeah.
But at this point, Bad Ash has his face burned off with a torch.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
And then he like gets the Necronomicon. He like jumps on top of this trebuchet. He's like, I possess the Necronomicon. And Ash just pretty much says, buckle up, bonehead, you're in for a ride. And so he cuts loose the trebuchet. And in this moment, it's so cartoonish, like the flaps of the top of his skull pop up. And it sounds like an air horn. It's like, ah! And he flies up in the air with the bag of gunpowder attached to his butt. For some reason, he explodes, but Ash caught the book.
Which that's realistically that's all that matters in that
Yeah.
sequence.
But there's one skeleton in particular, which is voiced by Ted Raimi, Sam Raimi's brother. He's like, "Let's get out of here!" He just screams that in front of the camera. It is golden. So now all you see is like all of these puppeteered skeletons just fleeing the castle.
And it's not like the legs move or anything.
They're just like scurrying with their torsos.
Their torsos gyrate and their arms are flailing.
Yes.
It's like a Muppet.
Yes. Exactly like a Muppet. And so in the theatrical version there's not much left after this. It pretty much like say these words and you'll wake up in your own time, drink this potion. And so he rides off into the sunset, and it kind of dissolves into him back at S Smart, pretty much like telling the tale to Ted Raimi. And he's like, and Ted Raimi's like, "Did you say the words right this time at least?" And he's like, "I may not have said every single syllable right, but yeah, I pretty much said them." And he's ticketing boxes, and the
lights start flickering.
But he catches the eye of a coworker who is Bridget Fonda. For people who know who that is, I don't know who that is. I know I read it in the production thing. It was like highlighted specifically. I was like, okay.
That name sounds important. I'll remember that and only that.
Yep. All I know is he was caught by her attention because she was wearing tight jeans. That's all I'm going to say. But the lights do start flickering, and all of a sudden there's a deadite. And she throws Bridget Fonda across the room and smacks Ash behind a gun cabinet.
Worst mistake
ever made. And so he pops back up with a lever action rifle. He's like, "Ma'am, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave the store." And he just like starts unloading like 50 rounds.
And he's moving on this like trolley.
He like jumped, he front flips into the air, lands on a trolley, and it starts like skating it
while shooting.
He throws the gun in the air before he front flips. He lands on the cart skating, then he catches it, then just starts unloading it again. And then he front flips off of it again, smacks the witch with the gun, then just starts unloading it as she's doing like back flips and front flips everywhere. After, I'm going to guess around 50 or 60 rounds,
probably,
she finally drops. He rips off his S-Smart uniform to like his blue shirt, but it's like a Wild West version because it's got like a plate of cloth on the top of it or whatever. And he was like, "Yeah, they could have asked me to be king, but in my own way, I am king." And he grabs the chick and he just says, "Hail to the king, baby," and he kisses her. And scene.
Oh my word.
There is never been or will there ever be a movie like this ever again.
And on one hand, I'm kind of glad about that.
Two, I want to see a movie like this with more money, managed better, I just want to see more skeletons. There's got to be a version of this movie where there's just like an hour and 45 minutes of a final battle with skeletons.
And see, the skeletons in my personal opinion are the best part because they give just so much comedy to it.
They do. You can't take any of them seriously. At one point, he even grabs just one of them and just snaps him in half over his knee. Like this, Yeah, your soldiers are so fragile. Mm.
It's like, I wouldn't even say he snapped, more like folds it over his knee because it
Yeah,
doesn't break.
No, it doesn't. He just like bends it and then he just like tosses it off to the side.
And like, whenever there are skeletons that are getting blown up or injured, they're all screaming like, "Ah! Wah! Oh no, run!"
In incredibly over dramatized voices.
And they're normally higher pitched too.
And yeah,
right?
it's always a high pitched voice. So if you're just a walking skeleton, you just have like, "Oh my god, we're going to die!"
You're gonna sound like Skeletor from He-Man.
Curse you, He-Man!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Would that be such a bad thing?
No.
No.
So that was Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Anything,
I love this movie.
Anything you want to add before we get into questions?
Go see this movie. If you do not take this movie seriously, watch this movie. Like, just turn on the background, like a game night or something. Turn it on when you're cooking. Just
It's a good movie. It's just really weird, is all.
you have to be willing to just accept what you're about to see is like the weirdest hour and a half of your life,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have so much fun with it. You have so much fun.
Alrighty, are you ready for the questions?
I think so. I don't know if I wrote any down or not.
Well, as per usual, I came up with a couple. So
I have none written down, so let's see what we get here.
So, for my first question, instead of a chainsaw, what would you choose?
Ooh. So, actually, I was kind of thinking about that to be one of my questions, actually. It went through my mind. You've seen Grim Adventures.
Of course.
So, the paranormal hunter, I forget his name.
Yeah, with the massive metal fist that
Yes.
seems to change into anything.
Yes, I want one of those. I just don't want one thing. I just want there like to be like an implant in my brain where I can just change it at will. You know?
Well, I don't think that kind of technology existed back then.
Neither did a gigantic Iron Man hand with like size 20 fingers. So
Me personally, I'd have to go with like a bludgeoning weapon. Just because
so you want like
realistically, a chainsaw doesn't seem that effective. Like, oh yeah, this deadite's moving around a lot. Let me just.
and if you think about it, in the second movie, they had to like completely rewire it because so there's no trigger, so it's just in a constant state of going. So like even if you like make one mistake, boom, there goes your leg.
Whereas, like, if it's like a
hammer,
hammer or like a sledgehammer, all you gotta do is just wha-pa!
Yeah.
On top of that, that arm would be shredded after a while.
You're gonna have Haas Delgado. That is his name. You're gonna have a gigantic Haas Delgado arm and a shrimpy normal person arm. You're gonna be like Gobber from How to Train Your Dragon, except you have a Gobber arm and a Hiccup arm.
Oh, is that a deadite? Takes off jacket, reveals extremely muscular arm.
And all across his arm is just like dash marks of tattoos of his deadite kills. It's like, well, I only got one spot left on here. Let's make it count.
Alright. Second question.
The chainsaw one was such a good one.
I got another one. Do you want me to ask it or do you want to think about it?
I want you to ask yours.
Would you switch out the shotgun for a different kind of gun? Look, let me say this. the rules of the movie still apply. Like, there's no reloading necessary. You just pow, 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 pow.
I would take the Winchester 1887. It is a shotgun, but it's a repeating shotgun.
Okay.
So it's a lever action shotgun. I would take that over a double barrel.
Yeah. Now, me personally, don't you have like a... You personally, don't you have... I think it's called a Lancaster? Or...
I have a lever action rifle.
I would probably take one of those.
Yeah, I can understand that definitely, but I also understand kind of like why they went with a shotgun. You got that power, whereas for that the lever action you have precision.
Yeah. But realistically, if anything's close enough, you don't need precision. You just need to... Pow!
Yeah. Okay. Here's my question.
Okay.
Would you stay?
No.
You wouldn't.
Nope. Nope. No, look, as much as I love like medieval stuff, the main place looks like it takes place in a desert.
Yeah.
And I am not a fan of super humid, heated conditions.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not only that, but there's still deadites around, man. And locks haven't been invented yet. The last thing I want to do is just be sleeping in my chambers. The door opens and there's just a 6'7" hulking deadite there. Like, time to wake up. No! Leave me alone!
But all those skeletons that survived, you could band them up and create like a show of just like comedic skeletons, and you can create pretty much like the original Muppets, but it's just undead skeletons.
As tempting as that is, I have to say no. I would not stay. What about you?
If I could get the skeletons, then yes. Just because I would have the most... you can literally create spooky, scary skeletons 2,000 years before spooky, scary skeletons. And have so
2,000?
Okay, wait.
700?
700.
Oh my god.
Me no math.
Yes, because Ash lives in the year 3,300.
that was the original Evil Dead 4. He goes back to the crucifixion of Christ. It's like, not that guy. That's the blood, and the Necronomicon is Jesus' blood. Oh.
All right.
That probably messed with Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ just a little bit. Just have Bruce Campbell running around.
Anything else before I tell the next movie?
Just go see this movie. It's such innocent-ish fun.
It's just fun. There's no real horror aspect to it. And when you keep in mind that at this point in the series it's more comedy, it just makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing serious about this movie at all.
It doesn't even take itself seriously.
Yeah, and I do want to mention the original ending is Ash wakes up in a post-apocalyptic world where the Deadites overthrew everything. And they didn't like that because it was like dark, like it's a dark ending. And so they actually used that ending for the final episode of the series.
Right.
And there was originally going to be a fourth season, but nobody knew what Stars was in 2017 or like had Stars. So like they had like no viewers. It wasn't until they like dumped it on Netflix that people was like, Netflix has an Evil Dead show? And it's like, no, Stars had an Evil Dead show. But like, I am kind of excited for them to finish and actually get to tell Sam Raimi's original Evil Dead 4 story.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't connect with the other movies or not, I don't care. Honestly, at first I was ever going to watch Ash Evil Dead stuff, but I watched the other two. They are good in their own way, but they're good for the different reasons. Like, it is good that they brought the franchise back to the horror elements, but like, one of the things that makes Evil Dead so popular is its ability to bend genres. And yeah, there is no Evil Dead without Ash.
No.
So yeah, that's just my opinion. So what is our next episode, Caden?
So our next episode is going to be one of my movies, and it is the original Pacific Rim movie.
You know, when I first saw the trailer for Pacific Rim, I was 13. I was in the theater to see Man of Steel. It was in 3D. The trailer was in 3D, and it was in very loud surround sound. I was like traumatized. I was like, this is so terrifying.
And then, probably after watching, you're like, this is the greatest movie ever.
It is one of the greatest movies ever. It's like I can just turn Pacific Rim on no matter what and just be pleased with it.
And like, I'll say it's a giant monster versus giant robot thing. Normally, if there's a lot of human interaction and those kind of things, I tend to like zone out, like with Godzilla movies as of recent.
Yeah.
But it's compelling. You actually learn to like care and respect for the characters, and you're like, oh, hey, that guy did something pretty good. I'll remember that. Or, oh no, that guy passed away. I'm never gonna forget that.
Yeah, and this came out before the 2014 Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie kind of kicked that off.
The whole giant creature.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially here in the West. I know we got the resurgence now of the Korean Toho Godzilla films. But
yeah, I'm not gonna go into that. We'll be here forever.
oh, jeez.
But I think now would be a good time to wrap up the episode, don't you think?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. I mean, we could keep talking about this movie for hours. So yeah, I think we're just best to just cut her off and say goodbye.
Yeah.
I guess see you guys in the next episode, man, and thank you for listening to the episodes that you have.
Yeah. It means a lot to us.
Yeah, please hit the follow button, hit the notification bell. We're releasing weekly, right? That was our original plan.
Weekly or bi-weekly.
Yeah. Either way, it's on a Monday.
Yeah.
You get it when you get it. But yeah, just leave a comment. Tell us what you think.
Anything we can improve on, let us know.
Yeah, this is like our third iteration of the show.
Yeah.
Through a couple bad recordings and renditions.
But this one, these episodes are definitely being posted.
Yeah. So thanks for sticking there with us.
Yeah.
Maybe one of these days we'll have those $500 mics each, have that studio sound, you know what I mean?
Oh, I doubt it.
Yeah, we're never gonna be there. But yeah, so thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you in the next episode. Until then, I'm Logan Thomas.
I'm Caden Green.
And we are
the Real Bros.
We're the Real Bros.
See you guys later.
See you guys later. Bye.
Bye-bye.